All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our weekly SAIL College and Career Workshop. So I'm Megan Faulkner, the program manager for the Summer Academy to Inspire Learning, or you probably know us as SAIL. Excuse me. We have with us today a wonderful guest speaker, Lisa Brookshier, who's with the Oregon Office of Student Access and Completion, which you probably know as OSAC. So before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that this presentation is totally for you. Our goal is to share some of the skills and knowledge you'll need on your journey to higher education or whatever you choose to do after high school. So please go ahead and use that chat function that you'll see on our YouTube page. Ask questions whenever you'd like about the presentation, and we will be sure to have our guest speaker answer them. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Lisa and we'll get started.
Hello and welcome. Thank you, Megan, for that great introduction. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera and open up our wonderful presentation. And I'm going to share my screen. Megan, do you see my screen now?
Looks perfect.
Okay, so this is Finding Funds for Oregon Students, and I'm going to give you a very quick, brief overview of the programs that the Oregon Office of Student Access and Completion offers. That's OSAC. We are under the umbrella of the Higher Education Coordinating Commission, and we have a lot of programs for our students. And so this is going to be quick and it is going to be brief. This I will show you when we get to the end where to find this presentation on our website. And that way you don't have to rush and try and take a whole bunch of notes today, because you could actually go in there and find this presentation for yourself to use. Feel free to ask questions as we go along in your chat, and we'll go ahead and get going. So these are the topics that we're going to go over today. You can go to our website and find information in Spanish, and also this presentation in Spanish on our YouTube channel. And so let's get going. So there's several types of different financial aid that's available for students. These are the best type because you don't have to pay them back, and that's grants, scholarships, and work study. It's important that you try to apply for as many different types of financial aid as you can, because you don't know up front what you might be eligible for until you apply. Most of these require the FAFSA, the Federal Financial Aid Application, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Most of these are the grants are government funded and mostly for low-income students. Scholarships are mostly privately funded, and they have both need-based and merit-based. And so some are for low-income students, and some are, for those outstanding students. And we'll talk more about how you can stand out in scholarship applications. And work study is a federal program. It's for low-income students. Most students use work study. They work on campus, go to school, and do that together. So loans, and there's federal loans and there's private loans. We really want you to be a good consumer. Only take out enough student loans to pay for your tuition. Try to live at home for as long as you can. Maybe work and go to school part-time, but be a good consumer. Do your research on the different types of student loans. Federal loans tend to have a little lower interest rate than the private loans. These must be paid back, so be smart. Go get a part-time job if you're not eligible for grants and scholarships, and just be really thoughtful when you're taking student loans. The free application for federal student aid is free to apply. Most people know it as the FAFSA. And so it's your first step in opening the door for federal and state financial aid. Most scholarships require it. Most colleges require it. And what that does is it gives us your expected family contribution, and you'll see it, once you've completed and submitted your financial aid. That EFC is what we're looking for, and we use it for awarding grants and scholarships. The institutions, the colleges use it for awarding financial aid. And so FAFSA opens every year, October 1st. The first time you're going to apply is you're a senior in high school, and then every year after when you're in college. When you're doing it, when you first do your FAFSA, you need to have a federal student aid, a FSA ID number, and your parent or guardian also needs that. When your parent or guardian is completing their portion of the application, be sure they know what the IRS tax retrieval tool is. We only have one federal government, and it's the federal government that they've done their taxes with. And so once they get their information in there, it's going to pop up, and this IRS tax retrieval tool is going to say, hey, we've got your taxes. Would you like us to upload all this information into your FAFSA application? Have them say yes. It makes it so much easier. Let me look at my notes. So be sure you're going to the correct website. If you have a Social Security number, you're going to do the FAFSA. If you are a DACA student or an undocumented Oregon resident, you're going to do the Oregon Student Aid application, or the ORSA. It also opens October 1st. You're going to find the application at oregonstudentaid.gov on our website. And it's mirror the same information that you would need to use on your FAFSA. You're going to use on the ORSA. You're only going to do one of these applications, either the federal form or the state form. You're not going to do both. And when you go to our website and you click on it that you want to do the Oregon Student Aid application, it's going to ask you some questions. First being, do you have a Social Security number? And if you say no, then it's going to go, great, keep going. Or have you been an Oregon resident for so many years? So it's going to ask you some eligibility questions before you even get to the application. So again, you're only going to do one, either the state application or the federal application. If you are eligible for the ORSA, it opens the door to the Oregon Promise, the Oregon Opportunity Grant, and scholarships in our OSAC scholarship application. If you have to do any edits once you've submitted your application, be sure you print it off before you go in and edit it. Unfortunately, it resets many of the questions, and you have to fill them back in when you go in and make corrections. So please print it out first before you hit that edit button, and then go in and make your corrections. Oregon Opportunity Grant is Oregon's largest need-based grant. All you have to do is file your FAFSA or your ORSA. If you are eligible, it will show up on your student award letter. You can see for the class of 2020, the maximum awards that they received for a two-year community college was $22,778. For a four-year university, it was $3,600. You have to go to school, start in the fall to be eligible. And you can also attend part-time. So this is full-time, part-time. You must use it at a state of Oregon, a university in the state of Oregon. You can't take it out of the state. What else do I need? Some of it, this is a need-based grant. So this is for low-income students, either the FAFSA or ORSA to be eligible for it. The Oregon Promise is our newest grant. And if there's questions, is somebody going to read the questions off to me? So I'm not checking I see things popping up on the chat. So if
yeah, I can go ahead and pop in and ask a few questions for you.
Sure.
So one we have is, if I don't apply for the FAFSA right away, will I miss out on financial aid?
Good question. Possibly, because when you hit that submit button, that is your place in line. So depending on your EFC and where you are, and what we do is we start awarding money at everybody that has a 0. So they're high need, low income, and then we start awarding the money. And so, yes, we run out of money. So the sooner, and we like to say it opens October 1st, you should have it submitted before Halloween. It gives you a whole month to get it done. It's really a lot easier than what it's been in the past. So you should be able to get it done as soon as possible. So yes, get it done as soon as you can.
That's great. I like that as a rule of thumb. Another question we have, do you ever have to pay to apply for financial aid?
No, and that's a scam if you do. It is a free application. We don't charge, the state of Oregon doesn't charge, so you should never have to pay. And if you get a scholarship application in the mail or emailed to you, and it says for $29.99, they guarantee you a $10,000 scholarship, that's a scam. If it's guaranteed, why didn't they just mail you the $10,000? So no, and there's no secret scholarships. Some people will pay to, get these secret scholarships. There's no secret scholarships. We all advertise our scholarships.
And then I am going to wait on a couple of these because I think you might be getting to
Okay.
some of this.
Okay.
But I'll ask you one more and then maybe you'll be getting to this. But how difficult is it to complete the FAFSA without a parent or a parent's information?
That's a tough question. And you can't, if you are under 24 years old, you have to list parents or guardians. And so we really recommend that you work with your college and talk to them if you have circumstances, or your high school. If you're a couch surfer and you're living at a friend's house and are estranged from your parents, sometimes your high school can help you get designated, and it's not coming to me of what it's called, but to where then they waive, you don't need to have your parents' information on your financial aid. So you either need to work with your high school on that or work with the college's financial aid office on it. If you have special circumstances that you are unable to get your parents' financial aid. But unfortunately, that's hard to do. And it makes it very difficult for students that want to go to college whose parents refuse to do the financial aid forms.
Wonderful. Thanks, Lisa. I will hold off on these because a lot of these are about scholarships, which I think you'll get to a little bit later.
Yep, I'll get to it. Okay. So Oregon Promise is our newest grant that we have available for students. It's only for high school students and GED recipients. One thing about getting your financial aid done as soon as, especially if you're going to be eligible for Oregon Opportunity Grant, you're competing against adults. So that, Oregon Opportunity Grant is for adults and high school kids. Oregon Promise is only for high school students and GED recipients. So you're still competing against some adults, but not so much as the Oregon Opportunity Grant. You must have a GPA 2.5 or better by next June is when that decision is made. You must begin community college immediately after graduating high school. You can't take a gap year, and you have to start within 6 months. You must start community college within 6 months of graduating high school. The EFC may be considered. This past year, we had to put a cap on it because of the economic situation and high need, that there was a cap on it. We won't know for the class of 2021 until next spring if there will be any income cap on it. But this application for Oregon Promise is very short and very easy. And so I would say, regardless of your economic situation, it's a good deal to spend a few minutes to get it done, to be considered. So for the class of 2021, for the class of 2020, This is what they're receiving in Oregon Promise Grant, anywhere from $1,000 to $4,505. And this is only for tuition credits. So if you take any college credits while you're in high school, those count towards the 90 credits that they'll cover. You never see this money. This money goes directly to the community college. So it will show on your student award letter, but it only goes to the college to cover your tuition. So to get the Oregon Promise, you must do either the FAFSA or the OSAC. You have to have it done, and it needs to be done correctly. You must list an Oregon Community College on your financial aid. If you don't, you are ineligible. And then we have in the OSAC student portal, and I'll show you where that is, the Oregon Promise application. If you already have an account with OSAC, the Oregon Promise application will take you 5 minutes. If you don't have a 2.5 GPA yet, click the button that says you will by next June. If you think you're going to have a 2.5 GPA by next June, just go ahead and click that button that yes, you have a 2.5 GPA. So,
Lisa, can I interrupt you with a couple questions we got?
You bet.
So with the Oregon Promise, are you able to use it with other scholarships?
Absolutely. Yes.
Perfect. So what would that look like if you had additional scholarships? How would
scholarships,
the award, or
scholarships are usually tacked on top of grants. So you'd get, let's say you'd get the Pell Grant, and then you'd get Oregon Promise that would cover tuition, and then your scholarship would pay expenses beyond that. And most scholarships are just cash money to the student. So Oregon Promise, this money goes to the college to pay your tuition. Scholarships is cash money to the student to pay for books, parking fees, travel, anything, room and board, everything else. So the scholarship monies don't have strings on them. So you can pay for what you need with them. Oregon Promise is strictly for tuition.
Perfect. That's super helpful. And then what if you say you have to list a community college on their application? What if you list one and then decide that you want to go do a different one that you didn't list?
Oh, absolutely. So next August, you were going to Lane Community College, and now you want to go to Chemeketa. You can change it in August, as late as August and September, because what we do is we send a list to the community colleges, and they tell us what students attended and how much we owe them for the Oregon Promise. So no, you can go into your application and make that change later. Most definitely. It's just important that you list one, an Oregon Community College, or you are ineligible.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Any other Oregon Promise questions?
Those are the ones I have for right now.
Okay. So here's a little chart that shows, so you're a high school student. You're going to graduate in the blue box there. You're probably going to graduate mid-June. The deadline for everything has to be done and submitted. All has to be done by June 1st. But there's no reason to, jump into our system and get that Oregon Promise application done now. I really recommend, if you're a high school senior, try to get as much of this done before you go on winter break. It just makes life simpler next spring when you come back. So for the students that are the overachievers that have decided to graduate early, you can see in that box, if you graduate from October 1st to February 29th, you have to have everything done by February 1st, and you must attend spring term. You cannot wait. You must go to school within 6 months. So if you graduate early, you cannot wait to go to community college next fall. You need to start early. No gap year. And you can see Oregon Promise does not pay for summer term at all. It's only fall, winter, spring. Okay. We have a lot of other grants. If you are participating with the Oregon National Guard, you get 90 credits free tuition at a community college, or 180 credits, tuition credits at a university. If you are a student that is currently in a foster youth or have been a foster youth, we have money for you. And so I'll show you on our website where that information is. The student child care grant, and I'll just show you. So our main website is oregonstudentaid.gov, and I'll show you where to find more information on all of these grants. So the OSAC student portal is where you go to sign and apply for all these different grants and scholarships. You can update your profile at any time, but once we get past the deadlines, you will not be able to change any of your application information. This is where next spring you would accept or decline any scholarships. And we really recommend that you use a personal email. Don't use your school email account. It will go away. You know, once you graduate high school, then it is deleted. And so you want to do your financial aid. You want to do college applications and financial aid. Use a personal email account, not your school account. So all of the high school, the OSAC portal is at our website at oregonstudentaid.gov. So let's talk about the OSAC scholarship application. It opens this week, so November 1st. The application, it will be ready to go. You can go in there. What's really nice about our application is that you can start it and save it and go back and do it, work on it as much as you'd like until the deadline. The first early bird deadline is February 15th. If you send us the error-free application, which means you're sending the correct transcript, there is a drawing for some scholarships. We never know how many drawings from year to year, but it's usually multiple $1,000 scholarships. So it has to be on time, submitted before February 15th by 5 p.m. to be eligible. Our final deadline, and it's very final, is March 1st. And again, 5 p.m., our time zone, Pacific time zone. And and we'll talk about, some of our scholarships require additional documentation. It all must be received by that March 1st deadline. So here's some examples of our scholarships. They are a very wide range of criteria and eligibility. Some of them are based on type of career that you're going into. Some of them are based on just the type of degree that you're interested in. Some of our scholarships are specific for community college. Some of them can go to a four-year university. Some of our scholarships can be used in Oregon only, and some of them you can take them anywhere in the U.S. The awards are all different. These are private donations and nonprofits that provide the funding for these scholarships. It is a unified scholarship application, so you can apply up to 20 scholarships with one application. And we will see some more. You can see that the top one requires an additional essays in addition to the ones that we already ask you to write. And so look for those, because a little bit of effort have big, look at that, up to $10,000. So take the time. If you are eligible for it and can provide the essays, there is really no wrong essay. It's just putting your heart and soul into it and doing the work to do it. You can see some of our scholarships have a GPA eligibility. Some of them, they're looking for first-year students that parents haven't attended college. So we award a lot of money. I think it's about $18 million each year in scholarships. We award a lot of money. So we ask a lot of questions, and there's a lot to our application. So again, you can start it, save it, come back. You can type things in a Word document, copy and paste, and bring it over into the application. We'll go through each part of this. The student profile, that's pretty obvious. That's where you're going to put your name, address, and all your information. Even if you are taking college classes while you are in high school, you are still considered a high school student. That's one mistake some kids make in their FAFSA, is that they apply for the wrong FAFSA because they're taking some college courses. You are still considered a high school student. You're just lucky enough that you're taking some college classes. We'll go through each of the personal statements. Transcripts. You are a high school student. Please let the high school upload your transcript to us. There's going to be a button. And because we have adults also applying for scholarships, there's an opportunity where you can upload your transcript. I really recommend that you let your high school do it. When you are in college, you're going to go to your student account and save a PDF of your transcripts, and you're going to upload those to us yourself. But while you're in high school, let your high school do it. They're going to wait until your classes or your semester is done in January, and then they'll go in and start uploading those transcripts to us. Activities chart. You cannot, so that, the number one reason we reject your OSAC scholarship application is because you sent us the wrong transcript. Number one reason. And so it's really important that you wait until the grades when you get into the application, there's very specific instructions. Wait till your grades the end of January, February before we get your transcripts. Activities chart, pretty much everything that you would put into a job resume, you would put into your activities chart. And then I talked about the other documentation and essays. Some of our scholarships are based on your parent or guardian's employment. And so you'll have to show us documentation of their employment with that company. So the activities chart has 3 sections. There's space for up to 20 activities. They can be divided through this however you'd like to do. This is the first one is school activities, and that's where you're going to put clubs, sports, leadership. Leadership is really good to put into a scholarship application. Anything you're doing in schools that besides getting your wonderful education, you want to list under school activities. Under volunteer activities, and back to school activities. If you have been in choir for all 4 years of high school, list it on one line and then put how many years you've been doing it. And you're going to have to guesstimate how many hours you've spent in your choir activities. Don't waste space listing choir 4 times. Fill it in with other activities and go as far back. If you did amazing things in junior high, list it. If you were in leadership roles in junior high too, list it. So list as much as you can. Volunteer activities. This is where are you giving back to the world? How are you making the world a better place? Are you volunteering in your community? In your community, it could be the broader community, the Eugene community. It could be your church community. What is your community and how are you helping? What are you doing to make the world a better place? But maybe you do your volunteer activities within your family. Maybe you're babysitting siblings. Maybe you're working on the family farm during the summer. Maybe you're translating for your family. Maybe you're taking grandma to the grocery store because she can't drive anymore. How are you helping your family? What are you doing to be supportive and responsible within your family? You want to tell us about that. And paid work history, again, anything you would put into a job resume, you would list here. In any of these sections, spell out what it is. Sometimes some of the acronyms, we don't know what they are. But if you work at the local pizza parlor and you're responsible for closing it down on Saturday nights, that shows huge responsibility. So you want to tell us about it. If you work at McDonald's and you teach other employees how to work the French fry machine or the drive-up window, tell us about it. So any leadership, any responsibility that you're doing at work, even if you're getting paid for house sitting or babysitting or anything like that, you need to tell us about it. Because some kids, they don't have time to do sports. They don't have time to volunteer in the community because they have to work. They have to help support their family. So every day after school, they go to a job and they're working all weekend long and they're working all summer long. So you need to tell us about what work you're doing for pay. So what are we looking in all three of these activities? Leadership, responsibility, any awards or recognition that you've received, tell us about it. Again, 20 activities. You can copy and paste. If you already have a job resume typed up, you can copy and paste. What else? And be sure to follow, if it says how many that don't go past the line when you're filling these in, because it will cut them off. Okay, so here's our personal statements. These are very short. There's 4 individual ones. You need to answer all the questions and all 4 of them. You can type them up in Word document and copy and paste them over. Oh, and one thing I forgot to say over here on the activities chart, if you use Career Information System or CIS, the activities chart in CIS will upload into this. So either go get your CIS activities chart all up to date and then upload it, or upload it and then you can adjust it once you have it into our application. So our personal statements, so there are 1,000 characters each. And again, there's 4 separate ones. That's about 150 words. So they're very short and very to the point. And I'm going to go through these questions individually and make sure that you see the different sections, because it's really important you answer the complete. We're scoring you on this based on you answering all the questions. So number 1, what are your specific education plans? First part. Career goals, second part, and why. Third part, what inspires you to achieve them? Fourth part. So in 150 words, you need give us an introductory sentence, a couple of supporting sentences, and then a conclusion. Quick, to the point, very brief. Number 2, what have you, and specific education plans. Don't say, well, I'm thinking about becoming a nurse, but I might be an engineer. Be specific, pick something. If you haven't, we know you're young, it's hard to make a decision, but for the purpose of this, you need to really get a good plan. I'm going to go to nursing. I'm going to go to Lane Community College for 2 years. And then I'm going to go to the University of Oregon. I'm going to get my nursing degree, a bachelor's in nursing, whatever it is, a specific, what college, what degree, and then what career are you going to and why, and then what inspires you. Number 2, what have you done for your family or community that you care about? First part, and why. 2 parts. You're going to expand on something that you just put into your activities chart, most likely, and give us, just talk about it more. So we've got your transcript, we've got your activities chart. We're looking at your entire application. This is where you really talk to and tell your story to the scholarship selection committee. Number 3, describe a personal accomplishment and the strengths and skills you use to achieve it. So personal accomplishment, first part, strengths and skills you use to achieve it, second part. This is where those internal characteristics. Are you hardworking? You're motivated. You're self-reliant. You're responsible. All those really good characteristics that are going to tell us you're going to be successful in college. Okay? Don't tell us bad things about yourself. Don't give us any negative things. Don't tell us that you're lazy. You tell us all those good characteristics that are really going to tell your story of who you are and how successful you're going to be in college. Number 4, describe a significant change or experience that has occurred in your life. First part, how did you respond? Second part, and what did you learn about yourself? Third part, we need all 3 parts of this. And you can see it says there's a significant change or experience that has occurred in your life. It didn't happen to you, but it's occurred in your life. So something like, I think a lot of kids are going to be talking about the pandemic. They're going to be talking about the forest fires. And so what was it? How did you respond? What did you learn about yourself? Are you compassionate? I like to use the example of the student whose mom got a big job promotion. His mom is working 50, 60 hours a week now. So how did he respond? Well, he's helping pick up his siblings from school. Well, this is before the pandemic, obviously. And being more responsible around the house and being more supportive and helping and doing things without being asked, so that his mom wasn't just so tired when she'd get home from work, and things would already be done for her. And I mean, it was just a wonderful essay about how responsible this student became because the mom had gotten a big job promotion. So think about it. All these essays, they're very important, and really tell us your story and who you are and why we should give you thousands and thousands of dollars. Show us how you're going to be successful in college. So how to stand out? Of course, academic success, taking as high a level math, science, English. If you can take college classes, great, do it. Make them count, though. Take good ones. Extracurricular activities. If you're not doing anything outside of high school, if you're not working, if you're not in sports, if you're not doing something, then we think you're sitting at home watching TV, and that doesn't win scholarships. We understand that during this pandemic, things are going to be different. But if between now and the deadline in March, try to think of ways you can do volunteer work over Zoom. What can you do? What can you help with? Try to find online things that you can participate in. I know there's ways. Kids are being very creative in how to do activities now during the pandemic. So get creative, ask for help, ask the adults in your life if they have any suggestions of how you can get some activities outside of your schoolwork. Yes, unique skills, strengths, accomplishments, passions. And when you write about something that you're passionate about, we can really tell. It really comes across in your essays when you're writing your story. If there isn't something that's currently going on in your life that you can be passionate about, try to find something. I know that it's a really difficult time right now for everybody, but try to find something. So yeah, and if you need to talk to your teachers or the adults in your life and find out what's unique about you and what can you tell us about yourself. I think I've covered quite a bit of this. Funny doesn't win money. We really like funny essays, but they don't tend to win anything. I taught, educator mindset, that you are writing this application the same quality that if you'd be turning it in for a school paper, for schoolwork. We are looking at your transcript, so I wouldn't waste the time repeating it in your scholarship essays. That we see that if you've got all, a 4-point, we see that. Use that space for some new information. I really highly recommend that you print off your application before you submit it and proofread it and get some feedback. Let others read it before you submit it and see if there's any changes you need to make. So keep applying. There's going to be scholarships available only for students at your high school. And then the colleges that you apply for, usually the admission form is their financial aid form, but sometimes other departments, I know some of the, the business department or the nursing school has their own scholarships applications. And so be sure you check there. And then check with other organizations in your community and see if they have any foundations or scholarships available. And then keep applying. There's national scholarships. I know I mentored a student with the Aspire program, and he won Bill Gates scholarship for $86,000 to be a rocket scientist. So there's some pretty big, amazing national scholarships, but they are very competitive. And there's some search engines on here, other ways. If you're using Naviance or, depending on what programs you're using at your school, they probably have scholarships. So to get started, get your FAFSA or your ORSA done as soon as possible. Go get your account on the OSAC student portal. Start off with that Oregon Promise. Get that done right away, since that's the easiest one. There's no essays. Once you get your account set up, it'll take you 5 minutes. If you need more information, we're going to go to our website. Please follow us on social media. We have a YouTube channel, and I'll show you where to find that. We have a lot of great resources on there. The Aspire program, if you're lucky enough to have Aspire at your high school, please get connected. Check with either your counselor or your college and career coordinator and see, we have trained volunteers that will help you with applications, answer your questions for you. And so Aspire is an amazing program. So hopefully you have it at your school. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to end that. Megan, can you see our website?
I sure can. Yes.
Okay. So lots of information. The first thing I'm going to show you is where this presentation I just gave you is at. And it's right here under Outreach and Resources. And here it is right here, Finding Funds. Now, if you know how PowerPoint works, when you open that, you can go to Notes, and you can see all of our notes for each slide. So those are my talking points that I just did. So there it is right there. There's also on our YouTube channel, and here's a link to the YouTube channel, and down on every page at the bottom, there's a link to our YouTube channel. This presentation in a 30-minute video is available. And I always click on videos. And so we have videos in Spanish. So here's this Finding Funds. This is the presentation I just gave, so you can share that. But we have a lot. Here's an explanation in ORSA. Maybe you're going, ORSA? Really? What's that? Here's a video that talks about it more. And we have tons of really great videos on our YouTube channel. Under grants, we have, here's one that says, okay, before you can get any of these grants, you need to get financial aid done. It's going to take you right to that thing that's going to say, do you have a social security number? Then it'll take you to FAFSA. So here's more information about Opportunity Grant, Oregon Promise, and then all over here on the right side, it shows all of our other grants available. Okay, here's everything for Chafee. And if we go to our front page, Over here is a section for foster youth, and we've put everything for foster youth on one page. Okay. So that's grants. So Oregon Promise, Oregon Opportunity Grant, and all of our other grants. Okay. Scholarships. So lists our deadlines. Here's needs help, how-to video and contacts. You can actually contact a human being to get help. Over here is out on the right-hand side is application help. And that's where you're going to find information about eligibility. There's the personal statements that I went through, the 4 personal statements. Here's the activity chart, samples, gives you ideas how to do it, and more information on transcript. Here's a video, step by step, will walk you through the OSAC scholarship application. Okay. Up here on the right is the OSAC scholarship catalog. I really recommend that even before you get going on your application, that you scroll through the 600 scholarships we have here and read what the requirements are, what's the eligibility, and look for words like, I need to find one on here. So like this one says, FAFSA recommended financial need may or may not be considered. So this one could be for low income people, but it may not be. They're leaving it wide open. It really depends on, they want to pick the best qualified student. And so really look for wording that says, a 3.5 GPA required versus GPA, what is the word? It's not coming to me. Oh, darn. Recommended, or that it's not rock solid. So you may have a 3.4, go ahead and list that GPA. You still might be the best candidate applicant for that scholarship. So list it anyway. If you meet all the other criteria, go ahead and list it. Even if it says 3.5 and you have a 3.4, list it. What else on our website? Here's a link to Aspire if you want to find out more about Aspire and what it is. If you know any adults that might be a good volunteer mentor and can volunteer and work with kids, that'd be great. That is it. Is there any other questions?
We do. We have some more good questions here. I don't know how many we'll get to, but we'll give it a shot. Thank you so much, Lisa. So kind of going back to Oregon Promise, I'm only going to apply to 4-year schools. Should I still apply for Oregon Promise?
Absolutely. Oregon Promise is a great backup plan. So what if, we're in a pandemic, who would have thought of that? What if your plan to go to a 4-year university doesn't happen? Having your Oregon, since it takes you 5 minutes to do it, having your Oregon Promise and possibly being able to still go to your local community college next year is a great plan B. So when I mentor high school kids, I always tell them, apply to at least 5 schools. Apply to a couple of the private universities that are more expensive. See what kind of financial aid they have. Apply to a couple of our public universities and see what, which ones have your programs and which ones you'd consider going to. But then always apply to your local community college and have that on the back burner in case that's what you need to do. Because sometimes things happen. And your plan to go to, let's say, Florida University and lay on the beach in Florida doesn't happen, at least you can still get on a community college and get your college education started next fall. So yes, even if you plan, you might go to university, please also do your Oregon Promise just in case you need it.
So this question, are these scholarships only for high school seniors, or can I keep applying for them while in college?
Well, if you are eligible for Oregon Promise when you graduate high school, you get it, you keep getting it until you reach 90 credits. So there's no time frame. So even if you're taking 6 credits each term at a community college, you will continue to receive Oregon Promise until you reach 90 credits. So there's no timeline, you don't have to finish it within 2 years or anything. So I think I answered that question, that you just, it's 90 credits. So however long it takes you to do that 90 credits.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So we've talked a little bit about COVID and the pandemic, but have there been any changes to OSAC scholarships and applications because of COVID or virtual schooling?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Too many for me to list, but absolutely. Yes, it has definitely impacted. We moved deadlines. We are making special considerations for GPAs. So yes, a lot of different things have been taking place. Yes.
And it sounds like everything is up to date on the website and the applications, so you don't have to
Absolutely.
worry about doing any additional research or anything.
No, nope. Everything's up to date and ready to go.
Wonderful. So thinking about small scholarships, are they worth applying for? And kind of what's the best use of your time?
Absolutely. So the best use of your time is you get everything together for the OSAC scholarship application, and then you're going to just use that same information and keep applying. I applied for at a community college a scholarship for travel abroad, and it was only $500, but that's $500, and so and nobody else had ever applied for it before. And so $500 is $500. So I think, again, everything that you need for a college application is basically the same thing we're asking for on the OSAC scholarship application. So once you create all this information, you can basically just keep applying. And I don't think there's anything as a too small of a scholarship application.
I think more of those things happen than people realize, like you're saying, is the scholarship no one applied for, or right? And then
Yes, definitely.
seems too small or whatever. So I think that's great advice. Um, and maybe this is a little bit outside of what we're chatting about here, but I'll see your take on it. So this person is asking, should I take the SAT or the ACT? Sounds like a lot of schools aren't requiring them right now, but I've heard they can help with scholarships.
So yes, I think a lot of school, as we continue on in the pandemic, that things are changing. And so if you get the opportunity to take the ACT or the SAT, do it. It's only going to help. But I really think the colleges, there was just an announcement yesterday, and I haven't read it yet to see, they have to make allowances because the tests aren't being offered anywhere. And if they're not going to do an online version, then schools just can't require it. And so, again, if you get the opportunity, go ahead and try and do it. But I just, that's not in my wheelhouse. That's OSAC doesn't have anything. We're not connected to College Board or the SATs and the ACT or anything like that. But I think as we move along that things are going to continue to change, and they're going to have to make allowances for students that just can't do those tests.
We also have one. So thinking about applying for scholarships in the Oregon Promise too. This person says, I don't feel confident that I will get scholarships because of my grades. Is it even worth applying?
So I'm assuming then that they don't have the best of grades. And
Yeah,
so,
sounds like maybe GPA is falling below some of these recommended thresholds.
yeah. Well, they are very competitive. And so That's why we try to catch younger students and say, you come in your freshman year from junior high, and we understand the transition is really tough. But if you come in your freshman year of high school and get D's and F's, it's really hard to recover from that. Or sometimes a student, something happens, their sophomore year, they break their leg and they just can't stay up on the work and get the decent grades and we get that. And so if you can do anything, again, even if you don't meet the GPA requirement. So let's say you came in your freshman or your sophomore year and you got D's and F's, but your junior year and your senior year, you've taken really good classes, you're getting A's and B's, you're participating in sports or activities, you've really, so you had that really hard time your sophomore year, but since then you've really turned things around, and we can see that. I'm on the selection committee, so I'm looking at your transcript and I can see, oh, this is a tough year. Something happened. Either you moved or something happened at home that caused you to have bad grades. But look, this junior and senior year, you've really improved. And so we can see that in your transcript, and talk about it in your essays maybe. But keep applying. It's worth the time.
Wonderful. This person says, I don't have any siblings or family members to help me with these financial aid applications. Who else could I ask, or who could help me?
I would start at the college, and they're offering online financial aid webinars. Keep checking back to our website. We're going to start offering some live webinars. If your high school has Aspire, please get signed up with Aspire. I know some schools are making helping students, get appointments with counselors. Talk to your counselors. Tell your teachers that you want to go to college and you need help. We're all behind you. We're all trying to do the best we can to help you this year. It's a tough year, but we're here to help you.
Wonderful. I think that's a great place to stop. We've had so many good questions. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing all of this incredible information and just all the opportunities that are available to students and encouraging them to take advantage of them. I think that's so important right now and always.
Good.
Yeah, well, wonderful. So to everyone who's watching, Lisa, thank you again so much. You are welcome to just pop off whenever you feel like it. I was just going to talk a little bit about upcoming events, but if there's any final things you'd like to share or highlight for people, you can do that too.
Nope, that's it. Go to our website and good luck.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
And then for those of you who are watching right now, I just wanted to share a few things that might be helpful based on some of the things that Lisa talked about. So SAIL is often an Aspire partner in your school. So if you're looking for someone to be a mentor or to help you with some of these applications, SAIL is a wonderful option. And we've got drop-in, ask your college question office hours every day except for Wednesday from 11 to 1:30. So you can come in and connect with a SAIL mentor and get some help with any questions that you have. So it's a great resource to take advantage of if you're looking for help. And then the other one we have, excuse me, especially as Lisa is talking about these OSAC essays, which are so important to accessing all this financial aid. We have a wonderful essay editing program through SAIL that you can sign up for on our website too. And that allows you to come in, you upload your essay when you sign up for your time slot, and then we'll match you up with a UO English faculty member or one of our staff, and you will get face-to-face feedback in the moment of how you can improve your essays. So please take advantage of that. We're here to help. We want you to have the best essays possible. So all of that information is on our website. It's sale.uoregon.edu, and I'll put all the information in the description of this video as well. But please take advantage of some of those opportunities so that you can access all of this great resources, whether it's scholarships or Oregon Promise or different grants. So we're here for you. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next time. Take care.